What is up, everybody? Purple and Gold Podcast, Friday, January 23rd. No update on Jordan Seaton. We're still on Jordan Seaton watch. Um, Multiple reports from On3 today that a decision is imminent. Jordan Seaton is expected to choose between LSU, Miami, and Oregon. And there's really little tells or little confidence among any of the schools that they are in the lead. So we remain in limbo relative to Jordan Seaton. I wanted to lead off the show today with LSU Baseball Media Day and Jay Johnson. Jay answered questions, for about 40 minutes. And he also spoke at the Rotary Club yesterday. He's done a number of interviews here. And we're gonna sort of break everything down, probably starting next week, position by position, battles, groups, infield, outfield, starters, relievers. 21 days away, LSU and Milwaukee on Friday, February 13th. A little bit of a treetop view today, though. LSU's number 2 in the D1 baseball poll, number 2 in Baseball America, 1 in perfect game. Obviously, one of the top teams in the country. A lot of returnees off the team that won the national championship, an influx of transfers. We do know the starting outfield will be Chris Stanfield in left, Derek Curiel in center, Jake Brown in right. We know Cade Arambete's going to catch. We know Stephen Milam's going to play short. We're 90% sure Zach York's going to play first, and I'll break all these guys down next week. We think Trent Caraway is going to play third. I think Kason Evans will get the ball on opening day on the mound. Still some roles to be ironed out. Second base, designated hitter, and obviously the number 2 and 3 starters. Was going to go a little deeper into some of what Jay said today relative to NIL, but we'll do that another day, because this afternoon a story broke that's sort of LSU adjacent, but I wanted to address it now, and I wanted to address it while it was still fresh. So Dabo Swinney had a press conference today. Dabo Swinney is Clemson's head football coach, and he basically brought receipts, evidence, a timeline of tampering against Pete Golding and Ole Miss. And he had text messages, he had timestamps, he had phone calls between his general manager and Ole Miss's general manager, who's now Austin Thomas, who used to be LSU's general manager. Austin Thomas, if you believe everything that Dabo Swinney said today at the press conference, pretty much threw Pete Golding under the bus. And I just wanted to weigh in on this and just say, and if you want to watch the 8.5-minute video of Dabo going off, it's on my Twitter X at RobG1124. So the same guys at Ole Miss, Walker Jones from their collective, Keith Carter, the AD, Pete Golding, the same guys that portrayed Lane Kiffin as the devil and untrustworthy and a snake in the grass and whatever definition you want to use. I use the word scumbag on Twitter. Those same guys, particularly in this case, Pete Golding, they're the scumbags. They're the tamperers. Now, look, there's no regulation right now in college football. You want to tamper, go ahead and tamper. But late last week, so who the tampering allegations are about is a linebacker, Luke Fornelli. He transferred from Cal to Clemson in this transfer portal cycle. He was enrolled at Clemson, taking classes, had started the semester, and then Dabo came into he has since now transferred to Ole Miss. And Pete Golding tampered with him, texted him, had Trinidad Chambliss call him, had Jackson Dart call him. First, he offered him $1 million for 1 year. Then he upped it to $2 million for 2 years. And Dabo had all the receipts. Again, you can go watch the 8.5-minute video. In that same time frame that Dabo outlined, this is the same period of time, late last week, last Friday when the portal closed, that these same clowns from Ole Miss were blocking Prince Will Uman Mielen from entering the transfer portal because they knew he was going to go to LSU, and they accused LSU of tampering. Walker Jones from Ole Miss's collective weeks ago gave some statement where he talked about Lane Kiffin's poor character and no respect for the people at his former employer. These same clowns are now going to be at the forefront of what I think will be possibly one of the tipping points. There are a number of tipping points, okay? Anything from Damon Williams to Darian Mensah, to Prince Will, if you want to say that, to what happened today. We need to fix the calendar in college football. We need to have binding contracts. We need to make sure these agreements are enforced, and we need to not let kids and schools just run amok. All of that being said, though, what's the old saying? You point a finger, you got three pointing back at you, right? I'll just say this about Ole Miss, and I've been hesitant to weigh in on my personal feelings about LSU versus Ole Miss and whatever, right? Ole Miss had the number 2 transfer portal class. I believe Trinidad Chambliss will gain another year of eligibility. They were a play or two away from beating Miami and playing for the national championship. Major props to Ole Miss for all of that. I've been watching SEC football and college football for the better part of 49 years. It may not be tomorrow. It may not be in September. It may not be this upcoming season. It may not be next season. Just let's put a timestamp on this and remember I said this. Pete Golding ain't it, y'all. All right? And Ole Miss is going to find that out. And, these guys that they took from LSU to run their front office, Austin Thomas, Jai Shorderi, both guys mentioned by name today by Dabo Sweeney. Frank Wilson thinks he's going to come to New Orleans and in the state of Louisiana and recruit every player that LSU wants. They think they're going to embarrass LSU and embarrass Lane Kiffin at every turn. They're not. If they want a war, and clearly they do, I would much prefer Lane Kiffin and Billy Glasscock as my generals over Austin Thomas and Pete Golding. So I just wanted to get that out there and get that off my chest. Do I think Dabo's a little bit of a bleeding heart sometimes? Do I think he's a little bit of an aw shucks guy sometimes? Yeah, I do. But if you go watch the 8.5-minute video today, I think he felt like he gave them a couple of chances to stop tampering. They wouldn't. He feels like he was extorted by this kid at the very end, which he probably was. I think LSU and Oregon and Miami are basically being extorted right now by Jordan Seaton and his uncle, if we're being, maybe more so the uncle, if we're being, really honest about it, right? That's the world we live in. It's the Wild Wild West right now. So I just wanted to get that off my chest. Starting on Monday, we'll get back to LSU topics. There's a lot I want to talk about relative to LSU baseball. Quick note, LSU basketball game tomorrow got moved to 4 p.m. Central. They're up in Fayetteville to play Arkansas. Obviously, massive weather impacts, ice storms, you name it, whatever. Hope the basketball team gets in and out safely, and let's see if they can't surprise John Calipari and that crew tomorrow afternoon. We'll be back on Monday to talk about everything. Enjoy your weekend. Stay safe. Stay warm if you're in a place where it's not going to be warm. And, of course, around these parts in Louisiana, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, we're going to have some dangerous cold weather too. Enjoy the NFC and AFC championship games. Football running thin. We're going to be out of football here soon before you know it. As always, be good to one another. And always, 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 go Tigers.